Hello, Peter 4790 Cyrus here, and welcome to another edition of Sirus Gaming Corner, a gaming podcast where I, Swordfish1390, and Forest Reviews talk about various gaming topics, from old games to new games. Everything is fair game as far as the discussion goes. And this is totally a legit podcast right now. Never mind the date this gets released, man. So,
Yeah, totally genuine. Just ignore the date.
So how are you guys eating so far?
I'm doing excellent. I'm
I
excited.
am doing splendiferously well.
So for today, there's not really much of a schedule. We're just going to talk about random stuff. So let's talk about what's our favorite games. So what's your favorite game, Sword?
My ultimate favorite game of all time is Heavy Rain. It is a masterclass of writing. It is Shakespeare tier, and anyone who does not admire the masterpiece of storytelling is an uncultured swine.
Hey, man. The gameplay is so engaging, man.
It really is. It's so hands-on and engaging and very innovative in its design.
I mean, don't you just love the fact that in the story, you already know who the killer is before you get to the end? It's like that's
No. The great part is the plot twist on who the origami killer is. I mean,
hold on. Origami.
Yeah,
Origami killer.
Isn't it great that they never foreshadow it? There's no context to it. A plot twist is just supposed to like surprise you, right? It doesn't need to make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to make sense, right?
Forgo all logic. As long as it subverts your expectations, nothing else matters.
Never mind that the so-called killer was having contradictory thoughts when you first play them.
And let's not forget.
Who needs consistency?
And let's not forget all of the great quick time events.
A quick time event to just play with your kids. A quick time event to like
open a door.
Quick time event to like put the plates.
Yep, remember the transformer part? We're going through the electricity. That was quality.
Oh yeah, you need some seriously dexterous fingers to do that part.
Oh yeah, for real. I mean, ooh,
that was
don't
amazing.
The Jason parts, the Jason. You know what? Scott Shelby really had it going on, man. He was playing the trickster role. He was there by day. He was Scott Shelby by night. He was a pimp, Scott Shelby.
He's really
the voice acting.
Scott Shelby is really a well-written character, right? There's nothing that ruined him like a sort of plot twist, right?
No, definitely. There's nothing contradictory about him. He's very consistent, very well-rounded. Nothing ever breaks his character, especially not towards the end or anything.
No, it's not the fact that a certain person got his life ruined by a certain fat fuck. But even better than that, it's the fact that the whole game, he finds him a new interest love, which makes no sense. But hey, it works.
Doesn't need to make sense, man.
Yeah, that's what's good about the writing in Heavy Rain. Nothing makes absolutely zero sense, but for some reason, it's just done so well that you love it. It's like I could play the game over and over again because the story is so good because it makes no sense.
Yeah, we need David Cage and his awkward shower scenes in our lives.
No, I agree with that.
Madison is definitely not a fan service character who's there just to get naked on screen or anything.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of agency in the plot.
Yeah. Would you also agree that the music really suit the tone of everything?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Overall, if you guys want an exceptional story,
and wait. You know what's the most realistic part of Heavy Rain?
What's that?
What's that agent's name again?
I know what you're gonna say. It's Norman Jaden, right?
Yeah, Norman Jaden, and his
goggles or something.
Goggles. That's totally realistic, right?
Yeah,
that's totally realistic.
That's
definitely a thing that
things appear.
That's definitely a thing that every detective and police officer has. Are these glasses that let you see like fingerprints.
We
And
had.
shit.
I'm totally so enthralled with how they managed to implement virtual reality into the game.
into solving homicides.
Yes,
Remember,
and it's
folks,
totally realistic. It's
remember,
as
folks, going to virtual worlds in the game, he always has to take his little, to continue going, because that's so important to the story, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a crackhead
Yeah,
or something.
or something to the effect. Maybe that stuff he takes it helps him go into those virtual worlds to make it feel realistic.
Yeah,
Overall, damn good game, right?
yeah.
I give it a
Totally.
9.5 out of 10. Actually, I'll give it a 9.9. I'll tell you why. Because I only had one problem with the game. You know what that is? Not enough load times. I mean, the load times were long enough, but they need to be longer, because I think you get to see those people's faces up close. You get to examine them. I mean, without having those load times be longer, I feel like I'm not getting the good enough effect of their face animation. It's just not enough. I need more of it. They didn't give me enough of it, Sword. I didn't get enough of it.
No, not enough amazing character faces and models,
Yeah, I agree with that.
and top-notch voice acting for sure.
Oh,
Like
yeah, it's
triple A
great.
plus stuff
Mhm.
right there. Like this voice acting puts like Last of Us to shame. Like Last of Us looks like fucking amateur voice work compared to Heavy Rain.
Yeah, I mean, imagine having like superb voice acting that you don't understand half of what they're saying, or the fact that the wording just seems off. But for some reason, it's so damn good though. Like even if it's terrible, it's good.
Troy Baker. Who needs
Yeah,
him
who's
voice
that?
acting?
Troy, who?
Yeah, yeah. Who is that anyway?
I mean, the voice actor of Ethan Mars is just mwah.
Jason.
Jason.
I mean, you can definitely feel like they weren't from like here. They were
I
from
think they were all
somewhere.
French actors. I think they were all French trying to sound
You know
American.
what? They did a magnifique job. I didn't even say that right. But hey,
hey.
that's just the game.
But hey. The voice actors in Heavy Rain all pale in comparison to the masterclass voice acting that is in Chaos Wars.
Oh,
I mean, that's the best voice acting in the world.
Who needs professional voice actors when you
No,
got your
just-
family to voice
Yeah,
your
just
yeah.
be
I
like,
mean,
characters?
hey Tim, when you're done with your
$15,000
when you're done with your Lunchables, do you want to come voice this character?
You know what? I was so excited to get Chaos Wars. I actually imported a brand new copy because I so wanted the game. I heard nothing but great things about the voice acting that I just had to have it for myself. No, legit, I did import that game brand new, by the way. I'm not making this up. I really had to have this game for the voice acting.
I think we know what our favorite game is though.
What's
Hmm.
that?
Resident Evil Raccoon City.
Oh,
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
isn't that the best Resident Evil game ever?
that game.
it's the best. It's the best survival horror game, the best third-person
I mean,
shooter game.
Do you remember when we played that game? How excited we were to just shoot things like bullet sponges. It just never stops.
Hey, you know the premier weapon of the zombie apocalypse, the shotgun, and how weak it is? That part is the reason why Resident Evil Raccoon City is so good.
It's
Yeah.
so grounded in reality.
It really is, and the fact that they actually didn't follow any of the plot to the mainline Resident Evil games is even more reason why the game is such a stellar piece of work.
Who doesn't love the fact that you can turn on your allies at the end of the story?
With
You
no
know-
explanation, as far as I can
No
tell.
explanation whatsoever. You just get to the end, you're like, hey, you gonna save Leon or kill Leon? And you decide not to pick an option, and the game says, fuck you, you're gonna do it anyway. That's what's so good about it. No choice whatsoever.
Love it. Wouldn't have it any other way. I'm definitely gonna have to replay that at some point.
You know what, man? Can you imagine? We just pick a weekend, Shintai, and us just play it again for old time's sake, because it was such a good game that I think us playing it again would just make us even more engrossed in the storyline, gameplay, and bullet sponges.
Hmm Yeah, I just
Yeah.
love when you unload like tons of bullets on an enemy that won't go down no matter how hard you try.
I love the fact it has no storyline, because I mean, who needs one, right? When
when the gameplay is so awesome.
Yeah, the game is so good, it doesn't need a storyline.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes the game special. Very special to me.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not forget this, okay? I think we all know you can't have a survival horror game without a survival horror game that takes things to the next level. And one that is exceptional by far is Amy. I mean, that was such a interesting, unique, and presentable piece of work there. I just think you got top quality frame rate of up 7 frames per second. I mean, when you see those cutscenes, it really makes you feel like you're in a movie. It is so good. And let me tell you, the gameplay in and of itself, it's fucking great.
Like just the hit detection is just spot on. Like when your weapon goes through enemies with every strike, masterful game
Because you
design.
have subpar amazing frame rate, you got delayed control, so you really can see what you're doing when everything's going like at 5 frames per second at times. I mean, that adds challenge to the game because you really can't see anything. That makes the game good. I mean, I was like, wow, like I really feel like I'm in this game, like making stuff happen. Like, I want to play more of this subpar frame rate game. It was so good. But I will say this, Ward, I love the music. The song that plays at the beginning is so good. Like, I actually would sit there on the main screen to hear the song theme play over and over again. Because I mean, I love the song. And how challenging the game is. Because you don't really kill the zombies in this game so much as you have Amy with you by your side at all times. Because the only way you can survive in Amy is having Amy with you. And if you leave Amy alone somewhere and you walk away from her, you turn into a zombie. Because for some reason, you need Amy with you all the time. And that was make the game so good.
Yep, she's got to be by your side. You got to babysit. Everyone loves a good escorting mission.
I mean, escort missions are the best mission types in gaming.
That's what I always get most hyped for when I play something. Is I got to babysit.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. You have Ashley from RE4 who you babysit, and then you have Amy. If I had to pick which one I love most, it's Amy. Oh God, Resident Evil 4 is like a cakewalk compared to Amy. Amy is on a whole nother level of excellent. Like, this game does it so well, that for some reason she comes out of your hand. She when you tell her to come here, she don't listen to you. She'll sometimes not come out of the dumpster. She just stays there, and then she'll get stuck and can't move. I mean, it's perfect. There's no issues with Amy. Even with all that, there's no issues with that game and how they control Amy.
You know what I love too is when you have to crawl under something, only Amy can go in, even though Lana is very clearly able to fit under a little small crevice. They make it seem like she can't fit for some reason. Definitely very realistic.
Yeah, it's realistic. It's realistic to the point that the developers couldn't think of another reason why. So they did a good job with that. I mean, they could have programmed them where they could both go through the thing at the same time, which would make the game a lot easier. But you know what? The reason they didn't for it, because they knew Amy had to be on a whole nother level challenge that you can't put common sense into a video game. And Amy does that. Has no common sense. But that's what makes it a good game. Because it has no common sense.
I mean, I loved in Chapter 2 when there's the security guard, and as soon as he sees you, it's an instant game over. You can run away from him all you want. That's it. It's done. And he does one little fucking pistol whip on you, and that kills you instantly. But zombies can scratch you, and it does hardly anything.
Yeah. I mean, whoever programmed that in the game did a damn good job, because I can tell you right now, I was excited to start all over again, only to have the same problem occur over and over. And not to mention, when you get further into the game, you have more booby traps and things like that, where you have to go through a street, a bunch of cars everywhere, and you have to somehow manage Amy across several different passageways. And then you realize, no matter what you do, it doesn't matter, because Amy has to kill zombies. When the rest of the game prior didn't have that, you somehow had to have limited ammo capacity and weapons to hit them. They programmed melee attacks that don't work. But because it's Amy, it makes no sense. It works great. And that's why Amy is the best babysitting / 7 frames per second game I've ever played. I mean, bar none, you have to play Amy. Especially with the PSN servers going down, guys. You have to play Amy. I promise you. You will not be disappointed.
I mean, as far as survival horror games go, like Silent Hill 2, what's that?
Exactly. This game is better than Silent Hill 2, like by far. There's no contest. If you think Silent Hill 2 is great, you're missing out on Amy.
Silent Hill 2 is fucking garbage by comparison.
Silent Hill 2 is a shit game. This is so much better. Don't ever listen to the people tell you, Silent Hill is better. No. Amy is so much better. Horrible hit detection. This game does it well. Horrible frame rate. You're gonna love the frame rate, by the way. I mean, you talk about games that have good, consistent 30 to 60 frames per second. Trust me, when you play a game that has consistent 7 frames per second, I promise you, you will not look back. You would think, who says 30 frames is great? No, 7 frames is so much better.
Hey, man. If we're talking about frames, the Colosseum and Ninja Gaiden 2 is something to be marveled at. It moves at like 7 to 10 frames per second when you're running through there. But that's obviously intended, right? That's obviously supposed to be cinematic, right? It's not because the game is running like a piece of shit, right?
Yeah,
it's symbolic. It's clearly a metaphor of
that's
some
what makes
kind
it special.
that only
without
scholars.
Without that great frame rate, I mean,
And we all know that the best version of Last Remnant is the Xbox 360 version where it runs like a slideshow.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
mean, think about it. You're playing that game.
I mean,
you're
you
thinking
get
to yourself,
to see every frame in slow detail, man. Isn't that the best thing? Isn't that
every
the best
sword
thing?
strike you do, it is like you see every single like frame by frame, one by one. It's masterful.
Now, here's the thing. You can ask yourself 2 questions. Should I install the game or should I not? And I'm
No,
gonna
leave it
Don't
as
install
is.
it, don't install
Leave it
it.
as is.
because you're not getting the full experience.
No, you're not getting the what the developers intended. You're not getting the they were trying to say something with that, and it's up to the scholars to figure it out. Installing it will only ruin that.
Yeah, if you're thinking that, it'll give me a better experience, no, it will not. I mean, other than that, those are the best games right there with great frame rates. I mean, you'll be hard pressed to find anything better than those games. You'll be hard pressed. You can't go wrong with either of them. For action, survival horror, or RPG, those are right up your alley with great frames per second. However,
Speaking of Last Remnant, that's also an amazing game with amazing design where you can't choose your actions manually.
Yeah. I can tell you, anytime I think about that game, it makes you want to drop everything and start playing it immediately. Because it was such a good game.
I mean, best RPG on the 360, obviously.
Vesperia? Get Vesperia out of here. Last Remnant is obviously the best 360 game.
Really, Namco should be ashamed.
Yeah, it was
They
such a
couldn't
good
create
game
the
that I don't remember a
masterpiece.
damn thing about it. That's how good it was. I don't remember
I
nothing.
mean, like Yuri Lowell is no comparison to Rush Sykes, obviously.
What do you mean Tales of Vesperia has beautiful graphics, have a robust combat system that has the most combo potential in the series, has likable characters, has a beautiful world? That's all shit compared to Last Remnant.
Compared to the slideshow of Last Remnant with its
beautiful-
randomized combat system.
What, the vibrant world of Vesperia that pales comparison to the greatness that you see in Last Remnant.
Yep.
I mean, we all love the bland levels of Last Remnant. It's just very gorgeous to look at.
Did I mention that I don't remember a thing about that game because it's so good? Yep.
Your brain can't comprehend the greatness.
Yeah, because everything was so good, I don't remember a thing about it. That's how good it was. Oh God, man, it makes me want to play it again. So I don't remember shit. That's how much I want to play it again, because it'll help me remember nothing. That's a good thing, actually.
Hey, I think I know what one of your favorite games is, Forrest.
What would that be?
Mugen Souls.
Oh, yeah, Mugen Souls. Oh man, that game is so crummy. crummy in a way that it exquisites itself as a masterpiece. Because it literally has no idea what it wants to be. Whether it wants to be an action game, or it wants to be a JRPG, or it wants to have exceptional frame rate. It does all those things so horribly well. Like, I mean, when I mean horribly well, I mean well. It's horribly done well. Like, is that even a word? Like, it's a combination of, you think it's horrible, but it's not actually. It's like, it's such a mixture of everything. It's got some of the most ridiculous graphics I've ever seen. Like, ridiculous in a good way. Like, quality good. Like, honestly, here's the best thing for that game. If you guys want the best experience for Mugen Souls, go to your PlayStation 3 and turn it on to 480p. You will have such a great time with improved graphics and frame rate. I'm serious. The game runs better when it has lower frame rate and lower resolution. You will love it because you can't see any of the graphics. And that's what's good about at lower frames per second and lower resolution, because you're gonna feel right at home with Mugen Souls. You're gonna love all the crazy special attacks that runs at like 120 frames per second, because the game can't even comprehend what 120 frames per second is, let alone 15 frames per second. But again, that's what makes it crummy, because it doesn't understand what it wants to do at any time when you're playing it. Nothing in the game works well because it expects you to figure it out. I had so much fun playing Mugen Souls that I even bought the sequel, and it was even more crummy that I couldn't stop playing it either, because it had even more ridiculously excellent, horrible goodness. It's like a mash of great gameplay experiences where it can't figure out what it wants to be. So yes, those games are great, both of them.
Well, I think that's all we have for today. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and see you next time.
Yeah, bye.
Don't forget to share it on all your social media.
Yeah, and make
Send
sure
it to all your friends.
To rate, comment, and oh yeah, and don't forget, guys. Don't forget, Raccoon City, best game in the world.
Yes.